Welcome to an interesting look at some of the most powerful and wealthy women in the world. When people talk about money, Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, and Bill Gates are often brought up. Today, we'll talk about the strong women who are making waves in the world of money. These amazing women have made a lot of money thanks to their own stories of success, grit, and kindness. Join us as we learn more about the lives, accomplishments, and charitable work of the world's wealthiest women. Prepare to be moved by their trips, their wealth, and the changes they made in the world. Susanne Klatt is number 7. Susanne Klatt is the first person on today's list. Susanne Klatt has a net worth of $23.7 billion. Most of her wealth came from things she inherited. Susanne owns almost 20% of BMW, a German company that makes high-end cars. She is also the only owner of Atlanta AG and has important roles in SGL Group and Entrust. Most of her wealth comes from her BMW stock. Susanne hasn't just been sitting around, though. With her MBA and skills as an analyst, Susanne turned Atlanta AG into the huge pharmaceutical company it is today. Susanne doesn't buy flashy cars like Elon does with his money. Instead, she buys property and works on getting better at being a boss. Many people think we always hang out on a yacht in the Mediterranean, Klatt said in a rare interview with her younger brother for Germany's Manager magazine. Being a guardian of wealth has some not-so-nice personal parts, her brother Quant said. Money is definitely not what drives either of us, said Quant. The most important thing is to make sure there are jobs in Germany. Who would have thought there would be good billionaires for a change? Miriam Adon is the 6th one. Miriam Adon is the richest Israeli in the world. She has a net worth of $25.4 billion and a story of how she went from poor to rich. Miriam Adon was born in Palestine. After studying microbiology and genetics, she realized that she too wanted to become a doctor. All of this happened in New York, and she met her husband in the United States. Adelson's husband, Sheldon Adelson, was a successful businessman, but it was Miriam's idea to turn one of his buildings into a casino in the style of Venice that made him a billionaire. Sheldon took Miriam's idea and turned it into the Las Vegas Sands Casino, which is a $48 billion business. After Sheldon died, she got half of this crazy wealth, which she has used exactly how she wanted. Miriam is a strong supporter of Israel, and she has given hundreds of millions of dollars to right-wing politicians and groups to help Israel reach its goals. For example, they gave $1 million to GOP campaigns and political action committees, PACs, in 2020 alone. Of course, all of this hard work has paid off. When former President Trump moved the American capital from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem, it was a big win for the couple. Miriam also got a Presidential Medal of Freedom from Trump in 2018. Miriam likes to use her money to help people and do good things for groups. For example, she has given a lot of money to help fight addiction through clinical study. She started the Dr. Miriam and Sheldon G. Adelson Medical Research Foundation in 2003. This foundation helps fund new medical research. So far, the fund has given out more than $180 million in grants. Gina Rinehart is the 5th one. Gina Rinehart is the richest woman in Australia with a net worth of $28.6 billion. Most of her wealth comes from her control of Hancock Prospecting, which, as you might have guessed, she got from her father. Gina's father found his wealth by chance. Hancock was a farmer and a pilot in the bush. One day, he was trying to avoid a storm when he saw red color coming out of a nearby gorge. He thought it might be iron, and when he looked into it more, he found iron ores that had more iron in them than the ones in the U.S. After pushing politicians and signing a few contracts, Hancock was getting royalties worth millions and billions of dollars. Hancock used his money to buy 2 newspapers, and soon he was making links everywhere. His business, on the other hand, soon went downhill as his health got worse, and Gina had to rebuild everything after he died. Now, Gina's wealth comes mostly from her mining company, Hancock Prospecting, which is one of the most successful in the world. Gina doesn't want to be on stage like her father did, who loved being in the public eye and used his newspapers to do so. Instead, she uses her writing to say what she thinks. She was even told she couldn't go to Russia because she said that the war in Ukraine is a warning that Australia needs to do more to build up its defenses. Rinehart is one of 121 Australians who have just been banned from Russia for life by the Kremlin's foreign ministry. In a statement, Rinehart said, "Even though I have very nice Russian friends and loved my 2 visits to St. Petersburg and would love to go back, I would not want to do so if I am not welcome or if I have safety concerns. I don't care if speaking out in the way I did above means I can never go to Russia again in my life." That right there is a strong girl boss. Mackenzie Scott is number 4. Mackenzie Scott is the ex-wife of Jeff Bezos, who is the 2nd richest person in the world. She may be the most successful divorcee in history. She has a net worth of $31.5 billion and is probably the most generous millionaire the world has seen in recent years. After it was found out that Jeff Bezos was cheating on her, Mackenzie Scott got 25% of his Amazon stocks. Almost as soon as she got her hands on all that money, she said she was going to give it all to people who needed it more. Mackenzie has given away more than $6 billion in 2020 alone, and he has no plans to stop soon. She says that she will keep giving until she has nothing more to give. Her ex-husband could pick up a few things from her. Back in July 2020, she wrote on her Medium that "I am determined to give the majority of my wealth back to the society that helped make it, to do it thoughtfully, to get started soon, and to keep at it until the safe is empty." She added, "This work is ongoing and will take years." Mackenzie Scott is a billionaire who gives money to schools to help underprivileged minorities. Unlike most wealthy philanthropists who make a big deal out of their donations and use them to gain favor with the public, she tries to keep her donations quiet. Scott wrote, "People who are fighting against unfairness should be at the center of stories about how they are making change. This is also true, maybe even more so, when their work is paid for by money. Any money they have comes from a group effort that includes them. The social structures that increase wealth make it hard for them to do their work, but even so, they are coming up with answers that help us all." It was said that she had given more than $2.75 billion to more than 286 groups in just 6 months by June of 2021. Mackenzie Scott has given away more than $12 billion over the past 3 years. Mackenzie Scott has come a long way. She used to be broke, but now she helps as many people as she can. What a good example. The third one is Jacqueline Mars. I want you to think about the last name of this billionaire. What comes to mind when you hear the word Mars? Planet Earth or chocolate bar? If you said chocolate, you are right and hungry. The Mars candy business is owned by a woman named Jacqueline Mars. Her grandpa started the brand, and the success of her brand's sweet blockbusters gave her a lot of money. The Mars name is responsible for almost all of Jacqueline Mars's net worth of $43.4 billion. She also owns the Virginia company McLean, which makes candy, M&M's, Snickers, Milky Way, gum, Juicy Fruit, Orbit, pet food, Pedigree Whiskers, and boxed foods, Ben's Original and Susie One. If you ask me, she is the real sugar mama. In 2021, the Mars brand made $40 billion in sales, making it the biggest candy company in the world. Most of the candies you like probably come from names owned by Jacqueline Mars. But her problems aren't as sweet as her treats. She was in a car accident in 2013 because she fell asleep at the wheel. Because of this, one person died and a pregnant woman lost her baby. Jacqueline said she was guilty of the minor crime. Surprisingly, no drugs were found in her body. It was just bad luck, it seems. As for how she spends her money, Jacqueline Mars is a pretty private person. And the only record of her private spending is that she regularly gives money to the League of Conservation Voters, an organization that works to get better environmental laws passed. Alice Walton is number 2. Walmart is run by Alice Walton, who owns it. Her last name says it right there. Did you see what was going on? No. Well, don't feel bad about it. There's a good chance that in the future, even more billionaires with strange names will be added to our list, so you can try again with them. Alice Walton, the Walmart billionaire, has a net worth of $56.6 billion. Alice Walton is a co-owner of the $572.8 billion business Walmart, but she seems to be more interested in other things. She would rather focus on art and her interests than on making more money at Walmart. Don't get me wrong, Alice isn't just lazy and decides to do nothing. She has already shown what a good person she is by starting her own bank after getting her MBA. Later, she sold the bank and chose to take some time off. She now likes to spend 7 figures on pieces of art that catch her eye. She has also given tens of millions of dollars to fund projects in her community. Most of the time, though, she just wants to live quietly on her 3,200-acre ranch, where she raises horses that win prizes. She says that the 3 B's, bones, brains, and balance, are the keys to making great horses. When you look at art, you can see that it has some of the same things. Franois Meyers comes in first place. Franois Meyers is the richest woman in the world. She has a net worth of $65.4 billion. 33% of L'Oreal is owned by her family. She is responsible for the whole amount because she is the head of the family's holding business. Beton Meyers has written books about Greek mythology and started the Betancourt-Schuler Foundation in 1987. The foundation gives money to science study, humanitarian causes, and the arts. The owner of L'Oreal is rarely seen in public, so we don't know much about how she spends her money. But during a hearing in 2007, it was revealed that her mother liked to spend a lot of money on gifts. Franois Meyers said that her mother's mental illness was being used against her and that people were taking advantage of her. A deal was made outside of court, but we don't know what it was about.